What's going on YouTube? Johnny here, back with another video for you guys. As always, hope everyone's been doing well and you guys had a great week. Today's video, I'm making some pasta bolognese, so with that being said, let's get into the cooking. Alrighty, and for the ingredients for today's video, I went ahead and got a head start earlier. So what I've prepped already is in this bowl I have some chopped up celery. In this one I have some onions that have already been diced up. I have some chopped carrots in this one. And I ran out of bowls. The last one's in the dishwasher, so had to switch to the plate. For the seasoning, what I'm using is Italian seasoning. I have garlic, salt, pepper, and garlic powder that is, and then lastly some parsley in there as well. And then I have the can of tomato sauce. Getting kind of crowded over here, so I gotta make sure I have enough space. And then for the protein, I'm using lean beef or lean ground beef. And just in case you're wondering about the percentages, it's 93% lean and then 7% fat. So that's the protein going in this for tonight's meal. And then for the pasta, technically bolognese is they say it's technically supposed to be tagliatelle pasta that you use for it, but I've switched it up. This is one of my favorites, and I love Italian food. And this right here, along with the fettuccine pasta, but this pasta, the pappardelle nests, one of my favorites. So if you haven't tried this, I highly recommend you give it a go. And it's again, it's one of my favorites to use, especially when making a bolognese. And those are the ingredients for tonight. And yeah, looking forward to it. Let's go. Alrighty, so then first what I'll do is I'll start with browning the meat. And then what I'll do is just, break that up a bit. And then we'll just continue to keep an eye on it. And it's about a medium heat is what you want to do this on. Alright, so this is what we're looking like. I'm going to let that continue to brown, and then I'll add in the vegetables to saute them and soften them up. Alrighty, so now that the meat is pretty much entirely browned, what we'll do is add the veggies to it. So in go the carrots, celery, onions, and then now I'll just stir everything around and we'll let the vegetables soften up, and then we'll add the tomato sauce in after that. Alright, and one thing that I like to do is after the vegetables and the meat have been cooking for a little bit, that's when I add the seasoning to it. And this way, the seasoning actually sticks to the veggies and the meat, and it makes sure, it just makes sure that the flavor is really there on that aspect. And once you add the tomato sauce later and you're working on the bolognese sauce itself, with the liquid component of it, you can always season again later. But like I said, this way, it's just something that I've been doing for a while. Cameraman taught me that, and yeah, so that's just the way I've been doing it. Alright, so the meat and vegetables have been going for a little bit now, so then what I'll do is add the tomato sauce. And then if it's pretty thick, you can always add some water to it. Alrighty, so I've just added some water. And the important part about that step, if you do add water, less is more. Because the last thing you want to do is kind of turn it into a soup. I'll let that simmer probably for about at least half an hour. I know they say, or like when cooking it, it's preferable for about an hour to 2 hours to let the bolognese sauce simmer, and it really enhances the flavor when you let it simmer for that long. But my time management today wasn't the best, and I got back from a run later than I thought it would be, so I don't want to eat too late. But I'll probably do anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour, 30 minutes at the very least though. So we'll let that do its thing. It's again on a medium heat. We'll let that simmer, and good to go. And the one thing about bolognese that's pretty cool is that there's many ways to do it. For example, like some people will, when they're simmering the sauce, they'll leave it covered, and that will actually help the sauce remain on the thinner side, just because of all the evaporation, and when it's the moisture within that gets captured on the cover will help keep the sauce thin. But if you simmer it without the cover on, it allows that moisture and liquid to fully evaporate, and then that'll help thicken the sauce. Personally, I feel like it kind of depends on the day, where I've done it both with covered and uncovered, and today I'm just doing it uncovered, but definitely have to give it a go, and let me know if you notice a difference between the two down in the comments below. But yeah, that's kind of just a quick little side note while we let that simmer and do its thing. Alright, so it's been going for about 20-25 minutes. So I'm going to do the first taste test. And here we go, moment of truth. I'm gonna add some more salt, some Italian seasoning, I'm gonna hold off on the pepper because that I taste, and then maybe a little bit more garlic powder as well. Much better. All right, so the Bolognese, the sauce has been simmering for about 35 minutes now. So I'm going to get started on the boiling the pasta water, and this is actually my first time boiling water on this electric stove, so I'm hoping it won't take too long, but we'll see. But you know what? Worst case, at least with the simmering Bolognese sauce, the longer you do it, the more flavor is supposed to release. So there's that. It's a win-win. So I'm just gonna salt this water. A couple more shakes. We'll let that go, and then we'll get started on the pasta. And while we wait on the pasta water to start boiling, I also, when I was at the store, I also bought a Caesar Supreme salad kit. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the salad, and I'll see you with the plate of that. All right, so the salad kit came with the salad, of course, the croutons, some Parmesan cheese, and then the Caesar dressing. And sticking to the theme of poor time management tonight, on my part, all the forks are in the dishwasher, so I had to switch to a plastic fork. So that's that, but still gets the job done. So here we go. We're making progress. Little by little. Progress. Let's go. Well, guys, I don't have a colander at my apartment, so I had to strain the pasta with the lid slightly open, but the lid like slid out halfway through, and I lost a good amount of pasta into the sink. Luckily, there's still a decent amount in the pot, and I still have another box, so for leftovers tomorrow, I can just boil another box of pasta. But we're gonna make do with this, and sometimes that happens, so doing what we can. And one thing that I like to do when making Bolognese, right before serving, I just like to mix all of the sauce into the pasta instead of like individually, scooping some pasta and then sauce. And then that way I can just really get a good thorough mixture throughout with the sauce and pasta. And here's the final plate. It was a long time in the making, but we're here. It's done. Looking forward to it. All right, and I just added some grated Parmesan cheese to it. So here we go. Get a nice forkful. Moment of truth. Alright guys, and that concludes today's video. As always, thank you so much for stopping by, tuning in, and supporting me in the channel. I hope you enjoyed today's video. It was a little bit of an adventure with making this Bolognese. Mainly the biggest thing being I completely underestimated how long it would take to reach the boiling point on an electric stove. And yeah, it took a lot longer than I, as I said, I just completely underestimated it. But now I know for going forward. But you know what? Sometimes it's like that, and we got it done, and it tasted great. So that's the main thing right there. But don't forget to click like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you don't miss when I upload here on the channel. Have a great rest of the weekend. Have a great upcoming week. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.